Hello and welcome to Casting Roles. We are normally a persistent D&D campaign, but we're on a little hiatus as we prepare to premiere Season 4 beginning next week. But this week we bring you a special game that I've been creating called Dungeons and Deskjobs. Please, if you like Dungeons and Deskjobs, if you want to see the quick start guide or things like that, please drop some information in the comments. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps the channel and it takes you just a couple seconds. But welcome to Casting Roles, and this is Dungeons and Deskjobs. So, welcome to the world of Middle Narland. This is your typical fantasy world, of course. There are elves and dwarves, fairies and minotaurs, fiends, and all manner of magical beings. There are also suburbs, cell phones, primetime television, social media crazies, and the universal entity, the corporation. The largest of these corporations is the all-encompassing DICorp, Dungeoneer and Imaginative Immersion Corporation. Originally a developer of magic items, vacuum cleaners, trading cards, 30 years ago, DICorp's corporate mission and profit margins were revolutionized when the first portal opened. On the land of what is now DICorp's main business campus, a tear in the very fabric of reality opened, and through it walked two humans from a place called Earth. They weren't great mages or wizards, but rather a couple of college kids who discovered the occult section of their library, and after a night of drink and a few other substances, managed a complex work of crafting a planar transference spell. Finding themselves in the magical world in a suburb with quaint houses, cars, but also a few wild unicorns and garden gnomes, the two explored until they formulated a plan. A year later, freshly graduated, they returned with their prospectus. The people of Earth have great fantasies of magical worlds. Thanks to a robust and, up until that time, thought fictional novel market, there were literally millions of people invested in the stories of elves, dwarves, dark lords, and dangerous magic. They proposed keeping a permanent portal open and selling tickets to would-be adventurers, or legends, to travel to fantastical realm and fulfill their fantasies. And on that day, the true and modern behemoth of a financial wealth and power, DICorp, was born. So this is a cooperative game of dungeon building and running a dungeon within the true terror of a corporate office setting. You all will play as team members, and I am the project manager for this particular work week. And our goal is to be the Dungeoneers for a group of legends. Now, you are all freshly out of training, and so this is your first excursion into the world of dungeoneering, and therefore you're giving the lowest level of trust and the lowest level of expectations for your success. But you will all work together to craft and run a dungeon for a group of legends who are, of course, humans from Earth with delusions of grandeur. In addition to your daily jobs, you also might deal with the harsh realities of corporate life, such as inter-office politics, romances, probably not in this one, corporate trainings and seminars, the dreaded daily memorandums and board policy changes, and of course, at the end, performance reviews. So, can you bring DICorp to new heights of performance and rise to the legendary Employee of the Month board? Or will you bring your stocks to new lows? Welcome to Dungeons and Deskjobs. So, for this game, we've got three recognizable faces from Casting Roles here joining us. So, just as we go around, just let us know, like, what entity in this world of fiction you are portraying, and then also what is your job title as a Dungeoneer. And we'll start down with Jace.
I'm Jace. I'm playing a Medusa named Monty, and I am a monster manager.
An all-important part of any dungeon is the monster wrangler or monster manager. Absolutely. All right, and then Rob.
I'm Rob. I am playing Gerald, the Tyrannosaurus Rex trap technician.
And then Ronnie, whose camera is off.
Is my camera off?
Yeah, your camera is
off.
What? Crazy.
We just have Abel's little picture in the center there.
Okay, that must have... Oh yeah, my blur is not on, so I must have a camera malfunction. I am Roddy. I am playing an Oni who is come to the corporation in the job of a atmosphere augmenter.
Atmosphere augmenter. All right, so Dungeoneers, as you are wandering the bleak and corporate hallways of DieCorp, you pass by the downtime room with its foosball and its pool tables, and you see tired, sagging eyelids of various different goblins and other, a hobgoblin. There's a copper dragon that is permanently trapped in human form and has lost the will to transform back into his normal dragon self. As you are approaching the first week of the new legend season. And the three of you have been assigned to a dungeoneering task force to guide three legends who are new to the company through their first dungeon. So you arrive in your workspace. You are given access to some resources, and you are given a planning board, which, because of the technology of DieCorp, the plans that you draw up here will be translated over to the realistic but still somewhat virtual reality that the legends will transfer and translate through. So, Monty, you are the first to arrive, and describe for us Monty's Medusa self. What do people see as Monty walks into the room?
Yeah. So, Medusa, the face and body of a little past middle-aged woman, and perhaps might even look a bit older, with some really heavy wrinkles, like crow's feet, and some really harsh frown lines. She is wearing a big, I assume a more formal office wear a little bit. Yeah, okay. So it's the usual button down and the pants that probably fit back 30 years ago and now are a little too tight, and then a big oversized cardigan that looks like perhaps she knitted it herself, and she's not great at it, but she sure tried. And then big glasses with the cat eye effect, and a little mirror reflection on them so she doesn't paralyze her fingers. And the snakes in her hair are constantly hissing at each other as if they are fighting amongst themselves quietly, and they're little pythons.
All right. So you walk in, and in the chamber there, you see a very familiar face. You see a large minotaur, curved horns, brownish fur, wearing. He doesn't need far distance lenses, so he just has the half moon glasses that are kind of looking down, and you see constantly attached to his hand a calculator, and he's just tapping away things, and you know that this is Bovi, who is the actuary or the accountant for the dungeoneering version of things, and he sees you walk in and he says, "Oh, Monty, we got to talk about your current available supplies for your current monster menagerie. I saw the purchase order that you put in. Pixies eat too much shit. We can't afford the pixies anymore, so we got to kind of work around this. What were you thinking for the current dungeon? Are you have any kind of theme for what you're working with?"
I was thinking pixies, Bobby.
Well, we had the thing. Pixies, as sentient beings with dirty mouths, not good for HR, and they eat too much. We can't afford the pixies yet. We've got to bump up that bottom line before we can get the pixies in.
Fine.
So we can finagle a little bit on your purchase order limits, but it's going to be a tight squeeze. Your group, I hate to say, it's kind of the low end of the tier on this one.
Bovie, I've just walked into the office. Are you telling me I am fired?
Oh, no. I mean, you're getting this one chance to, prove yourself, of course, but those performance reviews are right around the corner, and, my job's not on the line on this one.
I love starting my day with threats, Bobby. This has been a great talk.
All right.
Can I get you a coffee or something? You look so busy.
Oh, a coffee. That'd be fantastic. So you get the sense that like this Minotaur holds a great weight in the your ability to perform your job correctly, because he's gonna have to sign off on any purchases that you do.
That's why I'm getting him a coffee.
So in addition to getting a coffee, is there any kind of a tool that you'd like to use to like bump up your impression with Bovie? Any of your skills?
Yes. I want to use the team player skill.
All right. And I believe for you that is your D12 skill.
That is my D12.
Sweet. So go ahead and roll
I'm obviously very lovable, as you can tell.
Go ahead and roll a D10 and a D12, and then you can add your impact die to it as well. So that's a D4. D10, D12, D4.
Okay. D12, D10, D... Ooh. 18.
18. So Bovie immediately kind of softens a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Monty, that no one's ever asked to get me coffee before.
Why not? You work so hard. Look at you.
Well, look, you know, when you're the guy who has to sign off on all of the things, like people just kind of treat you like a signature, like a walking around like signature pad. And, you know, I had to invest in and he holds up like this like gold plated like stamp that has his signature on it, which is really funny because it is literally just like a cow print, but it's still like his stamp. And he's like, I'm a walking, like, walking coin dispenser at this point. That's really cool. Well, let's go ahead and handle your business, and then you can, I would love a coffee. That'd be fantastic. So Monty, with that in mind, you are going to roll for the monster budget.
The monster budget.
Okay. And so for monster budget, because you were able to sweet talk Bovie, you get to add an extra D. So it's a D20 to roll for your monster budget. But because you sweet talked him, I'm going to give you an additional a D6. So you roll a D20 and a D6. Yeah.
So a D10 and a D6, is that?
No. Sorry. So for budgetary concerns, we'll roll D20s. But you can roll a D20 and a D6.
D20 and D6. Mm-hmm. You're not going to believe it.
Did you get a natural 20?
I'm going to take a picture. It's a 20 and a 6.
A 20 and a 6? A 26. That's fantastic. So Monty's like, look, Monty, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to move a few things around here. I'm going to give you 400 credits. And you know that like on the
you should.
Yeah. On the frame, like 200 is considered usually a good amount, and you got 400. Yeah. Well,
when peer reviews come around, I will remember this.
If you wanna drop me a good, Ronnie, will you mute for just a moment? I think we have I don't know if it's coming from you. Is that better? Yes, it is. Okay. He's like, you could always like, you could send me a high five, and like through the system of like through the team systems, you can send out a high five, and it'll be read at the stand up meeting at the end of the day if you really want to shout out Bovie.
If I could give you 2 high fives, a double, I would.
That might look a little suspicious, but I think that the one high five would be fantastic.
And you know what? It's not because of the budget that I'm going to give you that high five. I'm going to give it to you because you work so hard. And that signature is pretty good. Look at it.
And he like writes out the 400 credit mark, and he puts his little stamp on it and slides it across to you. Don't frame it or anything, but
Oh, you watch me.
All right.
And I give him a saucy little wink and walk away.
All right.
And he can interpret that as he will.
So we are working with...
Picture all of the snakes winking as well.
Yeah, the snakes don't know how to wink, so they're just winking.
And I don't know, can he see the wink behind the reflective lenses of your glasses? I don't know.
I definitely lift them up.
Oh, and he covers for just a second.
I'm already winking.
Oh, okay.
So it's not the full effect.
Absolutely.
Like maybe he gets like a little bit of like pins and needles, but it's
Yes.
not like he's not the full, stone effect.
Awesome. So 400 credits for our monster thing. It's awesome. All right. So as you're kind of wrapping up with Bovi, and you kind of go to your desk within this setup, where there are, a succulent, there's a drafting board, there's the various different tools and resources that you can pull for your monsters. Ian, you walk into the development center here. And what do people see as Ian walks in with your Oni self?
Ian is a very scrawny Oni for his people. Human body, which is odd, but a permanently affixed Oni mask with acne scars just all over it. Young man, probably in his early 20s, still suffering from that adult acne, but he has very tight coils, curly hair. His voice still cracks a little bit, but he's 25 at least, Mm-hmm. But yeah, stark white Oni face, pimples, and very small horns and tusks compared to what a normal Oni would look like.
All right. So you walk in and Monty sees you he's like, Ian, so I heard you in training. You have all these like highfalutin ideas about like destructive scenery and like waterfalls and lavas, but that stuff doesn't come cheap. So we need to learn how to rein into the budget. You got the high dreams, but you got to work within the dollar signs. Do you understand?
Yeah, I just think that we could really revolutionize a lot of stuff that we do here. It's just, we want to give the best experience, and I think it's a sacrifice we really can afford to make.
Okay, well, we're already exceeding our budget on the monsters. So we got to make sure we rein things in a little bit. But I think there might be a little wiggle room here or there for a few things. Have you been to the break room? Are any of those sesame, bagels still out there?
Oh, I grabbed 4 of them for you. I know how you love them.
You produced 4 of the bagels. He's like, oh, well, that's a pretty impressive spread there. Was there cream cheese?
Cream cheese, of course, yeah.
You pull cream cheese out of your pocket.
Warm cream cheese out of my.
He's like, all the spreadable. He grabs it with he's like spread it on the thing. He's like, no, it's a pocket lint. It's fine. It's fine. He takes a bite. All right, so we do want to pilot some new things for you. The ideas that you brought to the development, it got some of the developers were really excited, and we want to keep them happy because we do keep them in a dark room a lot. But occasionally we'll want to let their ideas fly. So there are going to be a few tools available to you in this one, but we got to still rein in on our usage. So we're going to roll for the funding for this. For this one, for funding for you is also a D20. And because you brought him sesame things, I'll let you add a D6 to it as well.
Okay. D20. Oh, the 6 rolled a 6.
Whoop.
And the D20, I don't have actual dice. I'm doing it on a 4. So a 10?
A 10. Okay. So he looks like he goes, well, this is going to be a respectable budget for an atmosphere. We are in the tendency, like they've been putting up like the foam board mountains and things. There was literally a guy just like behind it, like throwing rocks over it to be like, oh, it's a rock slide. But like, we are going to get some real stuff up here for you. There might be the availability for running water.
What about the acid waterfall? Like that was a really innovative idea, and I think that'll really up the danger factor.
Okay, well, I think you might need to work with your trap technician to see if there's some chemicals that you could just mix into the water. No one needs to know the difference. There's no like project oversight on those kinds of things. Safety concerns out the window. So I think that'll probably be okay if you can work with Gerald on this one.
That might be a good idea. Like maybe like bleach and cleaning supplies like that.
Okay.
Burn. Yeah.
I feel like, what I've heard though is these humans, these legends as they like to call themselves, they don't do so well with the bleach.
Well, it just has to burn a little bit.
We tried it one time. One of them was blind. He filed like a complaint with the Better Business Bureau back on Earth.
He just can't grow another set of eyes?
Okay, look, just because it works for you, Oni, doesn't mean it works for everybody. Look, I can't even grow a second eyes. I got to wear these stupid glasses all the time.
Well, I'll talk to someone about human anatomy later. Okay.
All right. Well,
thanks. I appreciate it.
All right. So you've got a 200 point budget for atmosphere. All right. And then as you're kind of going to your setup and your drafting board for the atmosphere range, where you are given lots of little pieces of fauna and plant life of various different kinds for different types of setups and scenery that you can put onto the board and add to it. Gerald walks in, and it's a tight squeeze through the door for Gerald, as it is throughout the building, because this is not an accessible structure. And you've been filing multiple complaints with upper management about that, and they keep saying it's fine. We'll keep pushing it up the ladder to ears that might be hearing. But you do manage to squeeze your way into the chamber. Your tail promptly knocks over the succulents on Monty's desk across the room. But what do people see as Gerald enters in?
Gerald is a T-Rex with the little skinny arms, and he's wearing black pants and a white dress shirt with short sleeves, and a tie that's too short. And he's got a bag with him. Sorry, I'm late. I brought candied critters for everybody. But there are only strawberry shrews left because I ate the rest. And he pulls out, and it's candied animal. Would anybody like a shrew?
Absolutely, yeah. I appreciate you, man.
Shrew.
This is pretty cool of you, man.
Thank you. Like I said, there were more, but I was hungry. Apparently, well, anyway.
Shrew isn't my favorite, but give it to me. I know a couple of people who will love them. I start breaking apart shrews, handing them to all the snakes.
Here you go.
Oh, Gerald, you're too sweet.
Bovie kind of goes, Gerald, look, everyone said that a T-Rex couldn't do it. You passed the entrance exam. I'm super impressed, man. Look, people said things about me as a Minotaur with numbers. Minotaurs can't normally count over 4. And he holds up his split hooves, which only have 2 on each hand. And he's like, we can't count over 4. But the calculator, Earth inventions, crazy things, right? I am fully behind it. Whether people say that you are a special hire or anything like that, I think that you could totally manage this, Gerald. But traps, that's a big part of this department. So I think, people are going to be leaning on you. I'd love to have one of those strawberry shrews, though.
Okay. He pulls the last one out of the bag. Well, I ate the rest of the stuff already, so yeah, you can have them.
Oh, so I'm trying to watch my weight as he's shoving the third of the 4 bagels into his mouth, and then he just puts the strawberry shoe on the 4th one and takes a bite. It's quite a good mix now. All right, so Gerald, so traps, we kind of pride ourselves on our traps around here at Dicor. It's the bread and butter. Monsters are all well and good, but when you can catch a legend off guard when they're not even looking, that's quite impressive. But we got to talk funding and environment. Have y'all had a chance to think about the theme of what you want for your dungeon to be? It could be smorgasbord, and it could be the cornucopia. It's fine. Legends kind of forget what happens room to room anyway. But is there any particular? Are you thinking fire, spikes, traditional traps? Are you trying to do something special?
I'm thinking swinging walls, like the spike things that they step on the plate and just bam.
Oh,
because then you get the double because they either get impelled on the spikes or they get propelled into a wall. And if you put them in the right place, you can smack them between the two and make a sandwich.
Oh, that sounds pretty impressive. Swinging whole walls. Are the whole walls swinging?
Well, it depends. You can do that, or you can just do like a metal structure framework thing that you can do.
Okay, I mean, it looks like we're trying to be
I was
pushing
playing
some fun
this
in here.
video game Skyrim, and they have them in there where you step on these round tiles and they throw and they smack you.
You telling me you got the Earth system? You got like that PlayStation system?
It's an older one, but
man.
yeah, but I've got an emulator on my computer.
You got to show me how those things work. I've been trying to download one, and I just keep getting like this error message around Star Fox 64. It does barrel rolls constantly.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Well, I mean, I get sick easily, and so yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But okay, so let's go ahead and look at the numbers and see what we can crunch out here. So go ahead and roll a d20, and because you provided him with a snack and Monty is easy to please, you can add a d6 to the roll as well.
Not Monty.
Oh, sorry, Bovie. I was looking at the screen.
I'm not easy to please.
Mm-mm.
I rolled a 9 and a 3, so 12.
12. All right, cool. So for traps, I have a budget of 250 credits. Sweet.
Okay.
All right, cool. And so he kind of like dusts the crumbs off of himself, and he's like, all right, well, it's kind of up to you guys. You can't go over budget. You got to figure out how much you want to invest on the forefront, and then after you meet the legends and start pushing them through the dungeon, how much you want to, you might want to hold some back so you can throw surprises at them out the gate. But that's all up to you. Looks like it might be a monster-heavy dungeon, and he kind of winks at in Monty's direction, and then he's like tips his hat and like scrums the crumbs off into like a little bag on his side and just carries them off with him as he exits out of the space. And the three of you are now in the room together. And you know that in this space, each of you have access to the various different tools of your trade. But then at the center point, the desk that Bovie was working at is a actual 3D, like a place where you can do 3D mock-ups of the dungeon that you want to design. And so the first task that you want to kind of think about as workers who have been put together for the first time, and anybody checking their employee manual will know that the first thing that you need to do is kind of just figure out like what's the story that your dungeon wants to tell, and what's kind of the theme that you want to lead off of with your dungeon. And so stepping into that initial point of the conversation, that's where you need to go with that.
Anybody got any ideas?
Well, I was thinking like a forest hellscape, just lost in the wilderness, but nothing's what it seems. You have birds, beautiful, colorful birds flying towards you from the distance, but really they're like meat-eating mini pterodactyls and that kind of thing,
Gotta have
Like-
to have a swinging wall to forest, though.
Yeah, that might be kind of tough to incorporate. Okay.
Maybe
Falling
it's
trees.
like
Falling trees can work.
falling trees work. Maybe. Hear me out. So it's like you're in the forest, but you gotta get through the forest to the cabin in the woods. You see, and that's where we can get the walls.
Okay.
You gotta
Might work.
you gotta something's chasing you through the forest maybe, and you gotta get to the safe cabin that also maybe has some walls that fly at you. I don't know, maybe the cabin wasn't as safe as you thought. We'll figure it out.
So we're thinking
And you
less.
could have your acid lake, instead of a
You
waterfall.
gotta get over the acid lake.
Acid
Even
is
with everything you could
amazing.
want.
The best screams I've heard from humans is when they've been dunked in a vat of acid. It's got to be like a nightmare for every one of them.
Josh, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Is there? I assume that like legends must sign a lot of waivers before they go off on this. Is there like a bonus for killing people or a like subtraction?
Okay, so as you guys are kind of having this conversation, a familiar face kind of raps on the door like, hello, I'm ready. And you see the familiar visage of the Sahagwin, female Sahagwin, like hair, the higher it is, the closer it is to the Sahagwin gods. This is Thome, as she likes to go by. And she kind of walks up, she goes, hey, everybody. I hope your first day is going really well here in the Dungeoneering section. As a reminder, here's today's memorandum. Keep in mind that living legends pay bills. So we want to do something that is going to make sure that they have a terrifying, horrifying, rewarding experience. So we got to make sure that we don't kill. It is okay to maim. It is okay to severely injure, but we want to make sure. And I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming around with your legend books in a little bit. They're trying to like disperse the legends that signed up for this week. And so you kind of get yours. I don't think y'all's have a healer, though, so you want to be really careful about that. Or you can plant some potions around for them to find. They love finding things.
It's not coming out of my budget.
Oh no, I think you guys have a set budget for the treasures are part of like they pay for the treasures, so the legends, whatever they paid into the system, actually go to the treasures.
Great to know. Thanks.
Awesome. So so just keep that memorandum in mind. I mean, it was like you guys should have been here 3 weeks ago because we killed like 15 legends, and I think there was a complaint filed.
Well, I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, there was some like a spouse of one of the legends was just like, I didn't even know he was doing this. He said he was going away camping for the weekend. I think he was with a mistress. I don't know. But she wasn't too happy. So we can't kill them anymore. But if you do, just got to make sure that there's a way to, heal them and bring them back.
Understood. Thank you.
Got it.
So much. And this is the 2 p.m. memorandum. There might be another one. They like to send them around about 4 o'clock too. So I might pack by. Do I smell strawberry shrews?
Yeah.
Oh, they're all gone? I see. Okay. She kind of like
Wait! I try to see if I can get a snake to cough one up because I assume they take a long time and
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, so just go ahead and roll a d10 to see if the snake is able, and if you think you can coax it out of your snake, you can add.
Yeah, we have a good relationship.
Sure, then go ahead and add your team player to it.
So a D10 and my...
Yes, and your D12 and your impact die.
9.
It takes a little bit, and it is definitely partially digested, but you hear one of the snakes like reluctantly like, fuck it, and just spits it out into your hand.
Now language when we're at the office.
Sorry.
I give it a teeny cigarette.
And Fome is like... It's just, smoking in the building. I'm just so glad they haven't outlawed that too. And she like lights one up.
Cool. I give her the half-eaten shrew.
She's partially already digested. This is my favorite kind.
Oh, the venom does wonders on it.
I can't. Is that a king cobra? What kind of snake is that, actually?
They're pythons.
Pythons. Monty and your pythons. Just so beautiful. Mm-hmm. She takes it, she plops it in her mouth. She's like, all right, well, I'll see y'all again if they bring out my memorandums again. And she backs out of the room and heads out a little bit happier than she came in. So you've got... The direction from upper management is that you can definitely... Killing a legend may affect your performance review.
Okay, understood.
Unless we bring them back. So depending on what they did, if we can throw in a few scrolls of resurrection, then we can actually kill them and still meet the goal.
Just not all at the same time. Right.
No. Okay, good point.
Right. So maybe a few sporadically, like one in the middle and one at the end, maybe.
Oh, can you imagine the drama of that? Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. I was kind of curious. So, did you guys get your full budget that you requested, or?
Oh, I got a measly amount.
Really? Oh,
no, I got double my budget.
How the hell did you do that?
I think Bumpy's really into me.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm a nice person.
Sure, Monty.
Listen, you make a guy a coffee, you sweet talk him a little bit, you know.
You think that would work if I tried it?
I think you're adorable, Gerald. I think there is a charm about you that it cannot be denied.
Yeah, people love you, big guy. What do you mean?
We just gotta get you a better fitting tie. I'll knit you one.
Knitting tie.
Oh, that would be great.
All right. So you've got like your plan in place. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to figure out how many chambers that you have to work with. And then so you can kind of figure out and you're doing if you're doing a forest scape that leads to a cottage of some kind, you know that chambers simply means what area of the map and then another area of the map. And so this is for our atmosphere augmenter who controls the chamber elements. So unless you want to add anything to this, it is a base D10 roll. But if Ian has any additional skills that he thinks he could add to that to augment the chamber development, you could also potentially add those.
Is that where I can add the D12 thing or the?
Yep, you just have to justify RP wise why that would be a skill that you could use in this situation. This is your ability to manipulate the program that allows you to program the dungeon.
Okay. Well, Ian, being an Oni, is obsessed with death and dismemberment. I think he would have definitely heard a few weeks ago about the legend that was killed in the camping, or supposedly going camping.
Yeah,
was killed during so he's been researching camping trips in the human world, what all that entails, what they usually do.
Mm-hmm.
So in making his chambers, he's going to incorporate all his research in human camping.
Okay.
And
so you try to use your think outside the box?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a D10 and then add your think outside the box to it.
Is that a D12? That's the D12?
That's your D12, yeah.
Okay. Roll a D10. Wait, how do I get rid of the ones I already rolled?
I don't know. How do you?
Click them again. Okay, cool. Okay, an 8 plus a D12. Ooh, an 11.
Okay, so that's a 17. Cool. So you all can work with up to 5 chambers. And so you've got 5 spaces that you can use to develop. And for chamber development, you all will work together on these. And typically, in past elements, a lot of Dungeoneers like to place avatars of themselves into their dungeons. And so if Monty decides they want a Medusa chamber, then there would be one of the chambers that is Monty's to kind of flesh out the size and shape of it, because it would be Monty's lair, or the Oni chamber or the T-Rex chamber. And then you just have to figure out what the final goal and whatever fight that's going to be is going to take place in. So do you want to work with the full 5 chambers, or do you guys see it as a smaller, more compact dungeon?
I think the full 5.
The full 5? Cool.
Yeah.
5.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and figure out for your individual chambers what the size limits on those are going to be. And then that'll leave 2 additional chambers that as a group you'll work together on. And so, Monty, go ahead and roll a d10 for me.
Okay. 8.
An 8. So you can work with up to 25 by 25. Okay. Gerald, go ahead.
What am I rolling?
A d10.
D10. I also got an 8.
Nice. So you are also a 25 by 25.
Can I stretch that out so that it's more linear?
Yeah, just basically you have whatever 25 by 25. So whatever
35 by 20.
Yeah, you can adjust that and compress it however you want. It's just the max on any one side would be 30. Yeah. Or if you like the area max is 25 by 25. And then Ian, go ahead for your individual chamber.
I got a 10.
A 10, that is a 30 by 30 chamber.
Ooh.
All right, cool. And then for our final 2 chambers, this one you can either you can let Ian handle it, or if you all want to work together, you could potentially have a larger chamber if you use one of your all hands rolls and add an additional d10, or you can have Ian as the atmosphere augmenter handle the last 2 chambers.
I'm good with Ian.
Okay, go ahead, Ian. Roll 2 more d10s for me, please.
Do you want to? Oh wait, no, Brownie. Did you want to pull together?
Yeah, let's pull together.
Okay,
on this.
so,
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, go ahead. So this will be one of your 4 pulls, and so for one of these, roll 2d10.
I just rolled a 10 and a 2.
So that's a 12. So that would be a 40 by 40 for one, and then go ahead and roll your last d10.
Me, right?
Yep.
Ay, caramba. I rolled a 1.
A 1, so that would be a 10 by 10. All right, cool. Awesome. All right, so looking at our first like development phase for our dungeon is going to be actually mapping out the dungeon. So then you guys can put all the things that you'd like into it. And so looking at our space here, each of these is going to represent 10 feet by 10 feet, so it's just easier in the space that we've got available to us. But you have...
Let's go!
Yeah, you've got a 10 by 10. So you have one chamber that is basically one block that you can populate with whatever you like. And then you've got your larger chambers from there. So how would you all like to lay out your map?
I would like to go first.
Okay, so this will be...
What I'm thinking is we do a longer corridor, so it's like 10 by 60.
10
and
by
what's
60?
What's going to happen is
Okay.
I'm going to come in at the end, and I'm going to chase them down it.
Nice. So we've got our entrance here. Do you want it to be a straight line chamber or to have a curve to it?
Straight line.
Okay, so you said 10 by 60?
So,
Like, see the end of
this
the
would be
tunnel,
like
yeah.
down a row of trees and stuff.
Nice.
So there's our first chamber.
And we're very much thinking like more southern woods, like kind of forests, not like tropical, like rainforest, right?
So deciduous forest here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm asking like.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds
Cool. Awesome. So our first entrance chamber here, you know that the entrance portal is the portal that they come in from the processing center on Earth, and then they go through their portal and they appear into the woods. So there's a seamless, they never cross into any kind of corporate thing. They just seem like they've arrived in these wood spaces. All right. So after your initial, so that's, and we know this is this is Gerald's chamber, so Gerald will be present here. What would you like to do next? You've got your 10 by 10, your 40 by 40, or one of your unique chambers.
I'll go next.
Okay, so our next chamber will be Monty's 25 by 25.
I'd like to do it straight on.
Okay, so keep going straight.
No. So like what you would expect from like a kind of square thing.
Okay.
Like if it was all the same So I don't know how to talk shapes. I was very bad at geometry.
So just like a square.
Yes. Okay. And I want that. So if the lore is they've just been chased,
yes,
this is going to be like, okay, we're safe. We made it into this big space that's like open with a lot of trees. And maybe they find some items there, but then the trees start to move because they're trees.
Ah, tree and chamber.
So they got to get out fast. So it's a matter of how long before they take to notice that the trees are moving and they're coming in.
Fantastic. All right, cool. So now, are you gonna put your avatar in this chamber, Monty, or is it just gonna be activating the monsters in the chamber?
Yes, my avatar will be there.
Fantastic.
As being like, oh, hello, weary travelers. Behold, I have items for you. Oh, you must be so tired. Take a rest. And then that will distract them maybe to see how long they take to notice that this is actually another dangerous spot. It's not a rest area.
Fantastic. Awesome. All right. So that's Monty and Gerald's chamber. All right. So you've got your 10 by 10, your 40 by 40, or Ian's chamber.
I think we should do a 10 by 10 to connect to Ian's chamber.
Okay.
And make it like a cave.
Oh,
so
like
they
a
have
cave?
to run into the cave, and then they can either come out the other side into a clearing or wherever Gerald wants them to be.
So we've got a cave set up here that goes into a clearing. Awesome. So then that would be our 10 by 10. And then so Ian's chamber next.
Mine's pretty large, right?
30 by 30, yeah.
Okay, so I think I want more of like an open clearing with still a good little scattering of trees, but a nice, safe cabin sort of in the center of the clearing.
Okay.
And I'm thinking like this is going to be like the big climax. They think, okay, we've been through the ringer. We can really rest here. There's going to be like in the cabin a big feast. And I'm thinking, I know that they like s'mores a lot. So if they eat the food, it's going to be like a consequence. Like, I don't know, the marshmallows start to grow and expand out of their mouth and slowly cover their face. And they have to find an antidote to melt the marshmallows away.
I'm thinking of that Doctor Who episode with the little fat pill thing.
Yes, adipose. Yeah. All right, it's cool. So this is a chamber within a chamber. Then, so your last 40 by 40 is that inside the cabin.
Oh, and it's bigger. It's bigger on the
inside than it is on the outside. Absolutely,
sure.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
Fantastic
Doctor
design.
Who references.
All right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking here's where, like, I don't know, they would, if they do rest, they'd be like a rapping at the window and they'd see a masked figure holding a blade. And if they run out of the cabin, that's where they could be ambushed. Or
very cool. Awesome. Now, so you also... Oh, go ahead.
Combination trap. You like your acid? Make it acid rain.
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. I've got my water.
Maybe the acid rain is what forces them into the cabin.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, so as you all have set up your positions and you've decided like Gerald is going to be present in his chamber, Monty is going to be present in her chamber, but it sounds as more of like a quest giver almost.
Yeah.
Cool. And then Ian's going to be
like
present there. Yeah. So you have the option here, if you would like to, as you're developing the chambers, that you could spend 50 points of your budget, each of your individual budgets, and you could create a layer action for your chamber as something that would happen at initiative count 20 in each of the chambers.
Oh, I would like to.
Okay, cool. So what would you like?
That's the trees.
Okay, the treants activating would be your layer action.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that takes 50 off of the monster budget. So this is our treants activating is our layer action.
I think I would too.
Okay, what would you like your layer action to be for yours?
I'm thinking like if they do, so there's gonna be like a big spread of food laid out for them. If they eat, then if they decide to eat, after they've eaten, like all the food will like, maybe the lights will go out or something. All the food will turn rotten. Is that a lair action though? Can they be like, if they've eaten,
they take poison damage or something like that?
Is that considered a lair action?
Yeah, it would be because it's an element of the lair. That's sure. Yeah. So poison damage if they've eaten. Cool. And then do you want a lair action in yours, Gerald?
Actually, if I could combine with Monty.
Okay.
Could you give me some bees?
So like in the trees that you hit or something, there's bees?
Yeah. The bees, because it's a long day. I'm going to be chasing from one end, but if bees can like be coming out from the sides to funnel them.
Okay, cool. So
that way, if they try to like go into the woods, the bees swarm them.
Fantastic, and scare them back. Awesome.
You are permitted bees.
All right, so Gerald, you're going to chase them towards Monty, and then the bees are going to swarm if they decide to get on the things on the layer actions. Fantastic. Yep. You guys have built an awesome beginning dungeon here. As you're finishing up your initial sketches, and before you get into the trap development, monster placement, and purchasing, and additional atmosphere elements, there's a knock on the door, and you see the familiar face of Bill the Bugbear, who works in like legend. He's the legend liaison for the Dungeoneering branch, and he comes in and he's got like his bugbear hair, which is normally kind of all over the place, has been like slicked back with as much like just oil as he can possibly muster. And he's wearing a very finely tailored, very Earth style suit. And he comes in and he's like, hey, how you doing, Monty? Monty's Pythons. Hey, Gerald, arms as cute as ever. New guy. Ian the Oni. That's right, Ian.
Like an HR call right there.
So good to see each and every one of you. So
it would not be the first one for him, I think.
No,
definitely
not.
HR and I on great terms. They've got a file on me. We love to chat every Thursday. All right, so I've got your legends here to help you plan out your dungeon. I think as they were parsing out the legends, so sorry, no healers here. So just be careful, because remember, dead legends don't pay bills.
Dead legends.
Yeah, say it all with me. That dead legends don't say. Yeah, cool, awesome, good, awesome. So he tosses the legend information out for each of you, and you see the character sheets for each of your legends. There is you are kind of thumbing through them initially, and you see there is a Ronnie who is a wizard. You see a Jace, who is a rogue, and you see a Rob, who is a fighter.
Yeah.
What? Well, how did I get fighter?
Well, I just like, these are the basic like early D&D classes, and so
I know that, but of all the classes for me, I'm like the most passive person that you've ever met.
Yep.
Which could be, that's why he's using the escape.
Maybe,
absolutely. It's like Westworld logic, like, right?
Exactly.
like the guy who's like, I'm just behind a pencil pusher, and then he goes.
If I got to go on this, I would want to just run around stealthing and throwing knives. Like, that's
absolutely.
Correct.
No. You two make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So
you wanted a sword. That's what happened here. I think you were like, give me the cool swords.
Okay, I do like swords. I do like swords. So.
All right.
Okay, that I can work with that.
So now that you've got someone who has at least some skill with magic, so that if you want to, like place magical traps, that they would be able to detect potentially, versus not having a magic person, that would be just cruel to develop traps like that. But you know kind of what you're working with for your development. And you know that like with a rogue in place, you want to invest more into your traps because rogues have the ability to disarm those traps. You still want them to seem somewhat dangerous or deadly. And then the fighter, as somebody who can take hits, gives the monster manager more opportunities to create more challenging monster encounters because they have a tank in place ready to fight off against them. All right. And then Bill is kind of, as he like places them out there, he's like, well, you know, first time customers, you got to make sure they're happy because we want return customers.
Return customers.
Supposed to dead customers
legends and all
because
that.
Dead customers don't pay bills. You got it, Gerald. He goes in for a high five, and then you don't necessarily move because of your little arms, so he high fives himself. And then Bill walks out of the room, and you all feel immediately worse for working in this job.
He is
It's a
repulsive.
smell, just the smell he leaves.
All right.
although
My snakes are reacting like they can smell.
Their little tongues are just...
Yeah. They're mad. They're mad
Yeah.
about it. All right, so a
So,
wizard, a rogue, and a fighter.
A wizard, rogue, and a fight. So,
What a useless little bunch.
although if we were going firsty, it would be thief, not.
That's true,
Not
yeah.
rogue.
Rogue, thief, yeah. Mhm.
Although if you really want to go to basic homes, elf is a class.
That's true. hmm
elf was a class, not a race.
Elf was a class,
Yep.
and they were really good with bows
Yeah,
because it was
that
very
sounds about par for
Tolkien
the
inspired.
course.
Yeah.
Right.
It kind of morphed into the ranger, I guess, probably.
Yeah,
Mm.
All right. So for your next stage of development, this is where each of your individual strengths come into play. And so for each space, you have your individual budgets that you can spend to flesh out the atmosphere or the traps or the monsters within a location. And of course, the purchase orders that are required to be filed for each of those to make sure that they go through to financing. But you've got those elements there, as well as what treasures you want to put in each of those places. Just knowing that the treasure budget for this group, because it's 3, is 400. And so when you decide to put in a treasure, I can tell you the costs for different levels of treasure. So you can choose to start your journey together on that like final chamber that is the one that's like the group chamber. Or you can start your journeys by planning out each individual chamber like piece by piece. It's kind of up to you how you want to approach your development.
Which is the group chamber?
The final chamber here, which would be where like either if you decide to have like a final monster battle or some kind of final puzzle battle or something like that there, that's where the final chamber would be.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know what it could be? Okay, so they got the cabin, right? And they're in the cabin, and then, the food's poisoned, the lights go out, the floor falls through!
Oh, my.
The whole floor falls out from under them, and then they're in another room. I don't know.
Yeah, I love it.
No. This actually, it's I like it. Is the floor slowly starts falling away from the side.
Oh.
So instead of the walls
That's
closing in, the floor
better.
stopping. They have less and less room to figure out
know.
and solve the problem.
Dion, are we gonna have to play in this chamber in our other campaign?
No, you are not creating a chamber for the ticket takers.
Okay, all right.
Oh
Sorry.
no, the president
Exactly.
walks in to see what our dungeon. It's Aramon.
All right, fade back to
All right,
other
so you go to start planning in like the fall away, and you're noticing as you're planning it in that there is an error message that pops up because you were allotted 5 chambers. But you have the ability, you know who to reach out to because like the chamber like maven for the Dungeoneering core floor. Her name is Penelope, and she is a fae. She works on the third floor, and you can call her and try to get an extension for your chamber allotment, but one of you would have to handle that call.
Thinking outside the box.
Okay.
Because technically it's not another chamber, it's a pit trap.
Oh. So you're going to try to like brute force the system with...
we could make it so that, the room maybe starts not as huge, but then it deepens, so that's where we're getting that little box.
And the pit trap is not technically another chamber. It's still part of the first chamber.
Okay. So you're trying to brute force the system, which thinks very much in two-dimensional spaces and then tries to translate that to a 3D space. So go ahead and use think outside the box. You can roll, if that's your D10 and D12, then you can add your impact die. If you would like to pull and do an all hands, you can add an additional D10 if you would like.
How many do we have left?
You have 3 all hands left.
I think we'll be okay here.
Okay.
You can also choose to add an all hands afterwards if you want. If one of the other members can think of a way that they could additionally help to apply one of their skills, that might add additional elements to it as well.
I got a 7, an 8, and a 4. So,
Ooh.
that's...
Oh, I know what I'll do to help this. You said it's Flanelope?
Flanelope, yeah.
Flanelope, of course. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to send Flanelope. What's Flanelope? Like, she's a fae?
She's a fae, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not quite an archfey, but it's weird because her business card definitely says like archfey, but it's in quotation marks.
Is she Seelie or unseelie? Is that a...
So this would be a roll for you to remember this. So go ahead and to try to remember whether she's Seelie or unseelie, go ahead and make a... this would be for you a team player role because it's how well did you pay attention during your onboarding when they were going over the company flowchart.
Okay, just a D20 or?
It would be a D10 and then add your team player, which that for you, it would be either a D6 or a D8, whichever you decided to add at that.
Okay. So 13 plus either a D6 or a D8. Am I good at being a team player? I don't know.
That's your choice.
I'll do a D8. Why not?
Okay.
A 19.
A 19. So you remember, and you just all watch as Ian like pushes his Oni mask back up onto his nose, and goes that you remember that Penelope was part of the Seelie court.
Yeah, she's a Seelie court fae. Cool.
Okay, so I'm gonna send her a virtual greeting card through email.
Okay.
And
just like I'm in an office.
Yeah, and it's going to, it's gonna be like a singing one.
Okay.
And it's got little fays on it. Seelie, of course.
Of course, yeah.
And they're all dancing and doing a little like they sound like Alvin and the Chipmunks, And then the card like virtually opens up and says like the most generic kind of message. Like as the like it's like work hard, superstar, like that kind of thing. And then I write a really nice little note in there, being like, I've noticed you're working so hard lately, and I want to take you out for lunch sometime. Let's and then I say something like deal ? At the end of it, like
nice.
To just like really rub it in there.
Fantastic.
With her. And then a bunch of and then I type out XOXO, and then my name,
Monty,
whatever it is.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's see. Well received. So you immediately get like the red, but you also know that Penelope loves to leave people on red. So the fact that she read your email at all is like, she didn't just like send it to a folder of oblivion on her email. She read your email. So with that in mind, what is your dice for team player?
Me?
Yes.
12.
So, Gerald, you can add a D12 to that initial roll as well to see if you can bypass the system.
What am I rolling?
So this is whatever you rolled. Your initial was your
19.
19. Now you can add a D12 to that as well.
Jace, why don't you roll the D12 since you did the work?
Yeah, you can add it to it.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm on fire today.
12. All right.
Hey, I wish like my other character rolled like this.
All right.
So that's a 31.
31. So as you're trying to bypass the system, you're like struggling with like the logarithms and things. Like none of you are like super knowledgeable of the proprietary systems that they use for the programming table. But all of a sudden, as you're going, suddenly,
keyboard is too big.
Yeah, with your little T-Rex arms, you're trying to work the keyboard. But as you're working, like you keep getting an error message, and then all of a sudden you get just like a pop-up, and it just says, here's an additional 20 by 20, and it's signed like AF, and you know that means like Archfey. And so Penelope has passed on to you an additional 20, so you can have your sunken chamber within the initial chamber. So as this floor pops out, you have an additional 20 by 20 space.
Cool.
Oh, and so what the sides can do, instead of like falling away, that they can slowly be like sliding down into a slant. So it's like a tunnel.
Okay. So the tunnels falling away will be a trap roll. So to determine how much this is going to cost you off of your budget, go ahead and roll an ability check using your key ability, Gerald, so that you can see how much of your like, are you able to work the system well enough to use the least amount of resources possible to make this trap go off?
Bandwidth. So what am I rolling?
So your D10 plus bandwidth plus impact. So it's a D10, D12, and a D4.
Okay.
For Gerald.
20.
20, fantastic. So you're able to do that, and it only costs you 50 credits. So you have 150 credits remaining in your budget, and now we have a trap, which is the walls are going to go in. What's going to be the trigger for that happening?
The trigger will be after the lights go out and the food turns putrid.
Okay.
As soon as they get light back up, however they do that, then it starts.
Sweet. So it's tied to the layer action that was already programmed in. Fantastic.
Oh, can I make a suggestion for the food?
Yeah.
For the committee. So if they're eating the food and it's like we talked about like s'mores and stuff, like instead of like turning putrid, can it turn into like human remains?
Wow.
That is so disturbing.
That is
like it's like the marshmallows with guts, you know? And like
that is inspired. I'd say it's like human remains with maggots.
Yeah, rotting human remains for sure. For sure.
As the maggots hit the floor, can they turn into like the creatures that are chasing or attacking them?
Lord. All right, so that's an atmosphere roll. So go ahead and
we were made for this. This is awesome.
Yeah, go ahead and make an atmosphere roll for us. So this is your key ability, Ian. So a D10 plus a D12 plus a D4 to see how much this food transformation is going to cost you.
D4, D10. Oh no, I hit a D6. Wait, go back. D4. It's hard to roll these on Google. I should just be rolling physical dice, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I got 3, a 12, and a 9 for 24 total.
24 total Fantastic. So that only costs you 50 credits. So you have this room is now programmed with, as you're programming it in, you get like this creepy atmosphere. Do you want a welcoming atmosphere at first, and then the whole atmosphere changes?
Slowly shift.
Okay,
maybe
cool.
we decide like after they eat. Okay, we've eaten.
Walls start bleeding.
Yeah. Oh yes.
All right. So you were able to program the atmosphere.
Give ourselves trauma.
You program the atmosphere of the room for 50 credits. Fantastic. All right. So anything else you want to add to this chamber? And then are you going to put a final monster in the bottom chamber, or are you going to do something else in that bottom chamber?
Yeah. What's the final monster? Who's our monster?
I'm the monster person.
You
can
are.
Can I? Okay, so we've talked about there's going to be the T-Rex. There's going to be the trees.
And the bees.
And the bees. I was thinking in the caves that it's either like like it's like collapsing as they go through, or it's like spiders.
There's those creatures that look like stalactites.
Ropers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they'll pick you up. Okay, perfect.
Right. So in your final chamber, do you know what you want your big bad to be?
I'm working towards that in my brain.
Oh, cool. Yes.
So, and then Ronnie, for that thing where they see the cabin for your chamber, like, did you want anything forcing them into the chamber? Is that the acid rain that we talked about that's going to force them there? Okay, so there's not a monster there, so we definitely need a final monster.
Is Ian going to be present in that chamber as also an additional forcing method?
He's the masked figure with the knife.
Okay, good. So he'll be so we'll have Ian as well. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that. What do you guys think? Like, as far as building the tension in the atmosphere after they've had their food, they may want to spread out on the floor, have a little rest, wait out the acid rain. Could there be like a mass figure in the window, or do we want?
I think it should go in my brain. It should go straight there, and maybe Ian, if you're outside the cabin and you just are like a figure, like, you know, and like not even maybe coming at them, but just like pointing at the cabin, like menacingly. I don't know, something like that. Or like you point at the sky and then the rain comes. I don't know. Something for like ambiance, maybe. You know what I mean?
Or he could be the boss battle.
You could be the boss battle if you want to be.
How strong?
You also know that having one of you do the boss battle would save on the monster fund.
I could totally.
We have such a big monster run, though.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe so it falls out and it's like
aren't going to come cheap.
It's a basement area, right? And if they have like it looks like a human man down there in chains, but then he sees them and he rips through and it's a werewolf.
Werewolf?
Yeah. Or like he is aware of something, you know? And so it's like that's the story, is that he was chained down in the basement and then he breaks through and that's the big ultimate fight. Okay,
so you're looking at your cards and you think that you could like repurpose an Elfeshni as a good like werewolf substitute. Yeah. So you're like looking at your card and you like pull up the Elfeshni, which normally looks like this like winged boar demon creature, and you start to sculpt and reshape it. So instead of a winged boar, it looks like a wolf. So you pop an Elfeshni in as your final piece. Cool.
I like that. What are some of their attributes? The Elfeshni, what do they do?
So it has similar resistances, just like the werewolf would. So bludgeoning, piercing, etc., etc. But it has multi-attack, bite, and claw, just like the werewolf normally would. But you know that like a werewolf is a little bit too low of a CR, so you're like, I'm going to repurpose this attribute and make it look like this. But it has similar qualities to what you're looking for. Just like them, it can't be hurt without like a magical weapon or a silvered weapon. And so it has all those things. Ooh, cool. And so the final boss is going to cost you 100 points off of your total. So you've got 250 for the remaining smaller monsters around your menagerie.
I think I'm not gonna have the mass figure.
Wait.
I think
how many points did I have?
So we had 400, and then you did a layer action, so it brought you to 350, and then your final boss was 100, so it brings you down to 250.
Thank you. Sorry, I thought you said 50, and I was like, no.
No, yeah, 250. Yeah, you still have a large budget.
I have a large budget.
All right.
Yeah, I decided really quick. I don't think I'm going to have the mass figure in that chamber. I want them to have a real sense of we can kind of rest and take a breather.
Okay.
And I think if someone's like lurking outside when they first enter the chamber from the acid rain, it may take away from that.
Cool.
So.
All right. So no Ian at the chamber leading up to the cabin, and that's fine. So for the cave chamber, you said potentially ropers. All right. So so your big bad was 100. So this is where you start to finagle the financial system a little bit. And so Monty is on a chat. And so you need to reach out to Monty to negotiate prices on ropers, because the market on ropers has been going up or down lately. And so how are you going to reach out to Monty to try to negotiate the price
I'm
here
Monty,
on this?
So I don't know who you want.
Oh, so sorry. Bovie. I keep I'm looking at names on my paper.
Okay.
Bovie,
I'm going to reach out to Bovie.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to first, I'm going to make sure I do that high five that we were talking about.
Okay, what's the high five going to look like? Because the stand-up meeting, is coming in the next 45 minutes to an hour, and so you need to get that in. Yep.
Okay. What is it like? Basically, you say oh, they did this.
Yeah, there's a little program that you open up. It's in your programming suite on your computer, and it's the high five programming, and it's basically who is it for and what did they do that deserves the high five. Yeah.
Okay, so it's for Bovie.
Okay,
and I'm gonna go for the grind during tax season. I don't know. I'll say for saving the company so much money. Really laying it on about how much he does for the company, how he just saves
strategic
the company.
Application of resources.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and roll a team player roll.
Okay. That is a 17.
A 17. All right. So let's see. Ropers are normally CR5. All right. So he, as you kind of reach out to him and you just mention that you've put in the high five, he comes back with that he managed to get you a roper at a 50% discount. And so normally ropers would cost 75 points, but you get a roper for roughly 30 points.
Awesome job, Monty.
I send him I send him a little kissy face emoji.
He sends back his signature stamp emoji of a bovine's foot.
Not the stamp emoji.
Which is just his high version of a high five.
I send him the little snake emoji.
Awesome. So so he got you that discount. Awesome. So you guys have a roper in the caves.
Perfect.
Come here, baby.
All right. All right. So the last two chambers then. And you guys have the acid rain here, which is atmospheric. So that would be 50 points for atmosphere.
That seems fair.
All right. So you've got 50 remaining credits for atmosphere for the last two chambers. Because trees and things like that come standard. Anything additional that you add is going to be atmospheric there. All right. So the final chamber here. So Monty's quest giver chamber. And then we know there's going to be treants there, which don't come cheap, but you're looking at your budget and you have a pretty solid budget. You could probably get at least one treant in that budget.
Yeah. And then maybe
how
just
much is a treant?
So a treant would normally be 100 points. So you could potentially put 2 if you didn't want to invest too much in the rest of the budget. Or you could have one, and
Yeah,
then
because the bees aren't gonna be much.
no, the bees are each swarm of bees is only 5 points.
Yeah, then give me 2 treants.
So 2 treants. Okay, cool.
And then whatever else I've got, we'll spend on the.
You're gonna invest in bees, so you're gonna have 5 swarms of bees.
Oh, perfect! That's so many bees.
And then you've got 2 treants up in this room.
Yeah, that's great for me.
Fantastic. All right, cool. Anything atmosphere-wise that we want in Monty's chamber? And Monty and Ian, you can work together to kind of figure out what you want that to look like.
So what are you thinking, Monty? Like snakes or
I was thinking that maybe this one is like the kind of wait for the perception checks to start coming through for the trees, you know? So maybe more like inviting. Like I was thinking spending some treasure budget here.
Okay.
But we could also do some like heavy like wind effects. So maybe if they see the trees moving initially, it's not like an immediate red flag. It's like all the trees are moving, but that tree's moving a lot. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay, a wind effect.
Wind effects are 10, so you could easily throw out a wind effect for 10
Add in a
credits.
wind effect.
Cool.
Right here.
Awesome.
Wind. Is there magic? Is this going to be like magic items here?
There can be, yeah. You have a budget of 400 for magic items, and common items are 50, uncommon are 75, rare is 100, and legendary is 150.
What's the scroll of resurrection?
That would probably be a rare, so that'd be a 100. But you also know that if you give potions, as long as they're not dead outright, then a potion can also bring them back, and a potion would only be 50.
This might be a good place to add some potions, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that I could be there selling the stuff, but I'm being annoying and I'm bartering with them about it. So I'm wasting their time until they just either grab them and run, or if they work it out with me.
Okay, so Monty's selling some potions. You want to do like 1 or 2?
Give them 2 because they'll probably buy both, I would think.
Cool. So that brings you down to 300.
Wizard guy.
Yep.
I still think we should do a scroll of resurrection just in case we manage to kill one of them, because dead customers can't pay bills.
Yeah, customers can't.
Should we do a scroll there, or should we do it like maybe the scroll of restoration is in the clutches of the groper?
Ooh.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So it's like they have to, it's not only like a monster thing, it's like a logical thing of, it's holding something. How do we get it to drop without it attacking, or do we provoke it to attack, or whatever?
Cool.
And I'm going to throw in a trap there so that after they go in the cave, the entrance to the cave collapses so they can't go back.
Oh, a cave collapse. Okay, cool. So as you're working through the programming of that, Gerald, go ahead and make your highest roll to see how well, like what you can program for that trap, to see what the DC is on avoiding the trap.
Mm. 21.
So that is a DC of 21 to avoid the cave collapse.
And that's just going to be the entrance, so that the roper will be towards the other end. So they'll be trapped between the cave-in and the roper.
Okay, so you want the trap right at the beginning. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, cool. And that for your budget, that is 50 points off your budget. So you have 100 left for traps. And again, as the dungeon's running, if you want to hold a reserve, you can, like, if you
Is that 100? Do I have 100 left or 150? Because we spent 50 for the collapsing floor,
and then you spent 50 for your legendary action.
Right.
Oh, sorry. And then, so that brings you down to 100. But if you want to, you can either plan out 100 worth of traps, which you could either do like 2 deadly traps, or you could do a smorgasbord of more simple traps.
What I was thinking is that as I'm chasing them, having a the ground open up in front of them into a pit trap, so they have to jump over it.
Ooh, how far down do you want that to happen?
About 2/3 of the way down.
Okay, so right here.
Yeah.
So you have a pit trap.
And a couple of trees, big trees, collapse at the very end, kind of crossing, and that'll cross off the pathway. So that's what stops me from rampaging them further.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and roll. You can either roll for the pit trap for the DC, or you can select the DC. If you would like it to be a difficult DC check, then that would be 50 points. If you roll, so the difficult would be a DC of 17, and it's guaranteed 50. Or you can roll for it, and the DC you can roll, and it would be 70 points to spend, and you might have a higher DC.
No, DC of 15.
DC of 15, fantastic. So that'll be 45 points.
Okay, so that gives me 55, and then the trees will be how much?
The trees are simple, so those are 20. So that leaves you with 30 that you can play with in the middle of the dungeon. If you want to just like drop a trap in, you have 30 points to work with on that.
Okay, we'll do that.
Cool, awesome. And so then the last thing we want to do is you have 200 points on the treasure budget, so you can either add more treasure throughout, or you can invest that entirely in the final reward that they get from defeating the whole dungeon.
Should we sprinkle like an uncommon magic item or two in there?
Yes, we should give them a silvered weapon.
Okay, so a silvered weapon would be uncommon. So where would you like them to find the silvered weapon?
In the cabin, maybe?
In the cabin.
Oh, if they've got meat, they could have a silver knife to carve.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that way it's not obvious, so they can possibly miss it.
Right.
Fantastic. Which gives you leaves you with enough to do a legendary item of your own design as the final reward for the dungeon.
Ooh.
Well, everyone wants a good legendary sword. Maybe some type of sword, or
the chains.
Oh, as like a big like whip. Yes, silvered, like magical silvered chains.
So they with the cuffs around them, so they can like fling their arms out, and the chains come flying out.
Oh, I want that.
It's like God of War chains.
Yeah.
So the silver chains of chaos. Fantastic. Awesome. Very cool. So we've got our dungeon in order, and you all managed to defeat it before Crunch was called, before the stand-up meeting was in action. If you're fine, before we get into the actual dungeon elements, atmosphere, you have 40 credits you can work with. If you, as the dungeon is running, if you want something atmospheric to occur, you have some points to work with. And then for traps, you have 30 points to drop a random trap in at a point that you would like to. And then we'll get that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab what we need to set up for the dungeon. We'll have our stand-up meeting, and then we will begin running the dungeon. So let's go ahead and take a quick 5 minutes, and then we'll come back together for our stand-up meeting.
Yay!
Thank you, Five.
Yes, thank you, Five.
Thank you, Five.
So, as you all finish polishing the last elements of your dungeon, the all-call announcement goes that they are having the stand-up meeting in the full conference room, and so you all kind of trundle or make your way carefully through doorways, Gerald, off to the large conference room, where you see the smattering of your fellow employees, the fays flitting about, the large trolls hunkering down in the corner, the storm giant crackling with lightning, who is also like the head of the janitorial staff. Like everybody is there at the stand-up meeting, and as it is told, like the boss of it walks in. and you see the head of Dicorp, the only human in this building, who walks in, stinking of earth, as he spends most of his time there, but does come in once a week for the weekly stand-ups. And he's like, all right, everybody, we won't take our seats because it's our stand-up meeting, and we're going to be in and out as quickly as possible, but we're going to go around the room and we're going to see how everybody's doing. And he starts kind of hitting group by group, and you're hearing the different plans for the legends that week. And about an hour and a half later, in this short stand-up meeting, he finally turns to you. And this is Henry, who is one of the founders of Dicorp. And he looks to, he's like, all right. And to our newest group, if everybody will just give a round of applause to our new Dungeoneers joining the team. And there's a smattering of light applause. And he kind of says, all right, so really quick rundown. What's the overall theme of your the dungeon that you've all put together here today?
We call this one Cabin in the Woods.
Derivative, but okay.
Well, not really, because this is a new take.
Oh, sorry, I forget you guys don't have like movies here. Sorry. Yeah, so go ahead. What's your new take?
The new take is best explained by Monty. Go ahead.
Right. So the new take is it is a haunted forest. You begin being chased by a T-Rex, avoiding swarms of bees and pitfalls as the T-Rex stands before me. Then you encounter a clearing where you think you're in the clear, but alas, the treants might be moving towards you. And you run into a cave, but the cave collapses behind you, and a roper is above you, disguised as a stalagmite, I don't care. And then you come across finally the cabin in the woods that you must make your way towards before the acid rain falls. A feast awaits before you for your triumph, but alas, it was cursed, and you it turns into human remains, and the floor begins to slowly collapse beneath you. You are in a basement. There is a man chained before you. In silver, he breaks through, and that is your final battle, is fighting a repurposed
Nelfashni, yeah.
Nelfishness, and as a lycanthrope, and that is your final battle.
You see this guy next to you who is a Nelfashni, and he goes, shit, that's what I got tasked to? And you see him like putting on a mask that looks like a wolf mask from like an old 1980s like movie. Yeah. He's like, the big bad wolf.
Terrifying.
And Henry goes, that's pretty impressive. I'm looking at the budget. Like, who gave starters such a high budget? Bovie, what's going on with this? And Bovie's like, I don't know. I mean, like, we want all the legends to have a good time. So this was in the numbers.
Bovie and I talked, and these are all new legends. And so we're really working on getting some new people in there, and hopefully they'll go, word of mouth is the best form of advertisement. And so they'll go and talk to their people. And then we're really working on developing this new cult following, if you will.
Repeat customers.
Absolutely, repeat customers.
Can pay the bills.
He points at the large, like, corporate logos styling, like, font that's behind him on the wall, and it says Living Legends Pay Bills is painted on the wall behind him. It's like, love to see that. Keep it in mind. That was quite impressive. So go ahead and we're going to make a team roll here. And so each of you are going to roll team player. And if that is something that you're great at, you can add your impact to, but this will determine whether Henry grants you any bonuses for your run through the dungeon.
Okay, my team
I'm
player
gonna
is
go ahead and
guys
use my
4.
first all hands.
Well, so
I haven't used one yet.
Yeah, so you can do so each of you can do a D10 plus your team player, and then if it's an impact, you can add a D4. And then I'll take the average of that. If you want to add a all hands to it at the end, we'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would like to use one of mine for this.
Awesome, sweet.
I haven't used
Well,
one
is
yet.
that team thing is a pull.
It's a pull for everybody. Yeah, so you can
Okay.
roll
Let's
first.
See what the roll is.
Yes,
and
to
then
see how good it
Well,
is.
we've only
Yes.
used one, so
Yes, you've only used one. So you've still got 3. A
9.
10, and then add your team player to it, Ian.
Oh, it was a 12. Right? I did a D12 for team player, right?
Plus a D10.
Okay, so I rolled a D10. I got a 10, and then a 12.
Yep.
I got a 7 for 17.
So 17. All right. What was yours?
I got a
Jordan?
9.
A 9. And then what was yours, Monty?
Horrible. Terrible. What the fuck are you? 9.
9. Okay.
yeah,
So
definitely throw in one.
okay.
Yeah, let's throw in another
go ahead and
one.
throw in a all hands on that.
Do you want to, Monty?
I'll roll it, and you will be good. 9.
9. Awesome. So it's an additional 9. So that takes one of these to an 18. Fantastic. So that takes, so he kind of looks and he's like, that's an inspired plan. I think you guys might be onto something. I want to make sure that this works. Bovi, throw them an additional 100 credits for traps and atmosphere during the course of the run. And Bovi says, all right. And he takes out his little handheld device. And Gerald and Ian, you see the 100 pop up as a shared amount for you all. Yeah.
Could my traps are pretty good. Could we throw that to the creatures instead? Because I think throwing that extra dynamism this would actually be more, because like with the clearing, there's the 2 treants and they're scary, but if they need some extra oomph, being able to bring in more monsters versus a static trap, I think would be the better course.
Well, it looks like you all are, working with synergy here, and you know that we love to work with synergy here at DieCorp. So we'll expand that 100 to all 3 departments, and you can choose how to work that as best you want.
Yeah, we're really more like a family here than anything.
Just like a
We
family.
love to hear that. The corporate family of DieCorp. We love to tell people that. Go home, we're always hiring. Tell your friends, the corporate family, DieCorp.
I'll go write a good review on Glassdoor.
Awesome.
I noticed our reviews on there from anonymous employees are very varied, so we'll really go push those up.
Yeah, and you can
Thank you,
see
sir.
like
That's
a couple
very-
employees
very
around the
generous.
room like hang their head a little bit, like trying to disappear in the background.
Like, get out, never work here.
All right. So after
Never volunteer in this town again.
So after the 2-hour quick stand-up meeting, you all head back to the control section, and your countdown to your Legends arrival is there. You realize there's a couple quick final things that were on your checklist that you need to handle. So first, I need the DC to recognize the treants. And so Monty, this is going to be a role for you as the monster manager.
Okay.
You have to go talk to the treants to see and convince them to be very still and very patient. So go ahead and roll your team player for me.
Okay.
And treants are incredibly reluctant at not eating humans. So
14.
14. So they've got a DC of 14 for the
They
treant.
do like to eat.
That sounds good. That's like a good.
That's a pretty
I
good
don't
one,
want
yeah.
this to be the hardest thing ever.
And then the last one we had was an atmosphere roll, because you guys placed that silver knife and you wanted it to be like a maybe they find it, maybe they don't. So we need an atmosphere roll to see what the DC is on recognizing that this is a magical
silver
item.
knife, or is it magic?
It's the magical silver knife. So this is just the DC. If they don't use detect magic, will they recognize that this is a valuable item, or is it just a charcuterie tool? Go ahead and roll your whatever your high stat is. So your D10 plus your D12.
Damn, I rolled a 5.
A 5.
Does he get a day 4?
You also had a D4 too, because it's impact.
That's not gonna do much. A 6.
All right, DC of 6. So you guys want it to be easy for them to find this.
It actually
yeah,
glows.
no, it's
Yeah.
nice to have a good.
Yeah.
I think it's very nice to give them a good weapon.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And so you see that the
When
countdown.
they pick it up to use it, it like grows into like a machete, silver magic sword or something.
All right. So the countdown pops up on the window, and your screen zooms in down on our 3 legends as they pop through as they pop through the portal, and they are in your corridor of trees.
Really pretty. Wow.
It's so good.
Super hot.
And they're talking, and you can see like the nervous energy of these humans who are now in this fantastical space, and they haven't quite like adjusted to not being in just like a video game, but this is like real life, and they're like looking around everything. Oh, they're totally cosplaying. Like you know that DieCorp provides them with like a wardrobe that they can like go in and choose their wardrobe and what it looks like, and so they're decked out
at this point to I want to have like the full tactile experience. I want to affect all 5 of the senses. So like some spider webs like across this.
Some spider webs across the face.
Yeah, as they're walking down this this path.
All right, cool. So from this, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm about to say maybe instead of spider webs, do a little bit of fog, because then I can come roaring out of the fog. And they can hear the bee swarms first. It's like, what's that buzzing sound? And then the bees come out of the fog. Because bees in the fog, where you can't see, I mean, bees are terrifying anyway. I mean, you try and slap them off, and you can't bees slap anywhere because your arms
the fog.
And anyway, terrifying.
Stupid.
All right. So they begin the process.
That's great. So, I love the bees.
Thick fog that like
so
to the
any rolls for managing the dungeon are bandwidth rolls. So go ahead and see how effective, Ian, the addition of fog and spider webs is using your bandwidth.
Okay. And I roll what now?
A D10 plus a D4, I think, for you.
Jesus.
You got it.
Bombastic side eye. 7.
A 7. So as they kind of walk in, like it's almost like the fog machine kind of sputters for a moment, and there's just like poof of fog, but then slowly this like fog begins to roll in, and you see the roguish character.
I'm on a little speaker like.
The one that just burps on occasion for no reason.
Before Aaron's show, where it was just me and Chad, and all of a sudden Chad's just surrounded by fog. Wasn't like it was just us talking, and it just did it, and I was crying loudly.
No.
So they begin to make their way down, and then the fog kind of comes up, and you hear, like, you see immediately, like, on they have little Palm Pilots with them, basically, and there's like an immediate feedback loop of like atmosphere rating, and you just see it drop just a little bit as they're rating atmosphere.
Out.
Okay, and so the T-Rex appears. Go ahead and roll initiative for me, Rob.
We have an actual T-Rex.
I do have an actual T-Rex.
Because someday we'll have a druid that will be a T-Rex.
This is true.
Initiative 15.
15. All right, cool.
Now, wait, do I get any bonuses because of my dexterity? No, because I'm a T-Rex.
Yes.
You're a T-Rex.
All right, 15.
I'm strong, but weak.
All right, so at initiative count 20, this is your first opportunity, Monty, if you want to activate the bees or if you want to hold off on the bees.
Yes, bees.
Okay,
now.
so the bees begin to swarm. The bees are going to be this random thing here. We've got a couple bees that begin swarming off to the sides. And so
let's just do 2 bees at first, and the bees will multiply as we go.
All right, cool. So the legends begin to run. And our first runner is the rogue breaks and runs off before you have a chance to get into range, Rob. They get here and they're going to roll. It's a DC 15 to see if they perceive the pit. And so you watch as the rogue chumbles forward, hits this, and this breaks away, and they fall into the pit as this whole section collapses beneath them. And the rogue go ahead and roll 2d6 for me, Gerald, for your trap.
Okay.
For atmosphere, can I add snakes in the bottom of the pit that start crawling out.
Okay, that'll cost you 20 points, but you can definitely do that.
We could do one of our bee swarms from inside the pit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the trap breaks and out of it swarms another swarm of bees. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The third string of bees.
Okay. What was your 2d6
6.
roll? 6 points of damage to the rogue. All right, cool. And then you're next in initiative. So you can either attack, you can chase. What would you like to do there,
I'm gonna
Gerald?
chase.
Okay, you're going to chase. So you run towards them and you're just kind of staying at their heels, maybe nipping at their heels as they're going.
It's like that Sonic adventure level.
Yes. All right. Next on the initiative count would be the bees. So do you want the bees to sting at them or do you want the bees to just swarm them?
I want the bees to just swarm them as long as they're running. If they stop, the bees will sting.
Okay, cool. So you've got them moved in and swarming. All right. So the fighter's next. The fighter is going to turn and face you, Rob or Gerald, as you're going, and he's going to make 2 attacks against you. The first one's going to...
No, Rob hurt itself in its confusion.
The first one's going to miss. The second one is a 17 to hit. Does that hit you?
17.
Hit your T-Rex?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Yes, because I'm
cool.
armor class 13. I'm sturdy, but an obvious target.
You see, they paid for the high-end package as this flame-tongue sword swipes towards you.
Son of a bitch!
And so you take 15 points of slashing damage and 5 points of fire damage as the flame tongue strikes across on that hit. And then he's going to turn around and he's stand there and he's like, I'll hold him back. You guys keep running. And so he's there. Bees. So then that means that activates the bees. Go ahead and make 2 attacks on the bees. It's a +2 to your die roll on your attacks with the bees.
What? I gotta look up the bees. Hold on.
I think it's a +2. Let me see.
But I don't know when I'm rolling for the bees. Simply, bees swarm. I don't know why I thought that would immediately come up with D&D and not just facts about bees.
Here we go. Oh yeah, sorry. So roll a d20 and add a +1 to hit.
Okay. 9.
First one misses. Go ahead and roll for the second swarm.
7.
So
terrible bees.
The bees are swarming in and attacking, but they're just pinging off of the fighter's shield, but they are swarming around the fighter. And then these bees are still here. They're swarming around the rogue. If you want to make an attack against the rogue, you can.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll +1 with for against the rogue.
19. Of course, I hit the rogue.
That will hit. Go ahead and roll. It is a D6.
4.
4. And because they're bees, the bees also take 4 points of damage to their swarm.
Yeah,
because when bees strike, they do die. These bees are a little injured. All right. Up next, the wizard is going to take off running this direction. He's going to attempt an athletic check to get over the pit.
Why not just cast fly?
And that's fantastic. He makes it, and he's going to get across here, and then he's going to wind up a fireball because every wizard, when they get access to spells, casts fireball. So he's going to
ask how big the room was.
Yeah.
I said I cast fireball.
So he's going to cast fireball down towards the T-Rex, which will also hit the bees. So go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw for me, Ian, or for Gerald. Yeah.
10.
10, so you're going to take full damage from the fireball.
Gerald's going to be a bit crispy walking away from a flame tongue, a fireball.
All right,
there's a reason I do traps and not actually fight.
That's 27 points of damage to you, Gerald. There's no way the bee swarms can survive those, so these 2 bee swarms are down. You have 1 more bee swarm waiting in the wings, though. Or sorry, you have 2 more bee swarms waiting in the wings. You had 5 bee swarms.
They're coming now.
Okay, so those bee swarms are going to come into action, and they're going to... Do you want them to swing up at the wizard?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Go ahead and make 2 attacks against the wizard.
10.
10. That hits because he didn't use mage armor yet because he doesn't know. So go ahead and roll a d6.
3.
3 points of damage, and then the bees take 3.
And then the second one's not gonna hit.
Okay, cool. So then the second one, he finally realizes, oh shit, and he casts shield on the second one. So that's there. All right, cool. Which takes us to the rogue, who's going to attempt to get out of the pit and successfully jumps up out of the pit, does a glorious flip in the real-time physics of this environment, and then is going to swipe at the bees. All right, this bee swarm let's see how much damage. Yeah, you see like this dagger coated with venom slice across the bee swarm, and this bee swarm is pulled out. All right, that takes us to you, Gerald. What would you like to do?
I'm going to chase him, so I'm going to start stomping towards him and try and do like a tail... I'm going to tail attack.
Okay, tail attack. Okay, go ahead and make a tail attack against him.
Oof. He's really selling this. This is awesome.
19.
19, that's going to hit. Go ahead and roll your damage on your tail attack.
Best.
Which is... Oh, that was a 19 before the plus 10 to hit. 3d8 plus 7. A 2, a 1, and a 4. So 14.
14 points of damage. All right, cool. And we'll say for...
Just trying to scare him.
Because you wanted to push him, so let's say he gets knocked back about 10 feet. And then that gives you space to move into his area a little bit. That is the fighter's turn. He is going to, now seeing that his friends are at a safe distance, he's going to try to jump over the pit and get away. You can make an opportunity attack if you like.
I'll swing at it with my tail again.
Okay, go ahead and roll another tail attack.
11, so that's a 21.
That definitely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
That's better. 16.
16
plus
points of damage.
So that's 23.
23. Okay, so 30. Okay, cool. Awesome. And so he gets there. He's looking, he's not looking like super injured, but he's definitely like, oh man, like dented armor and stuff. And but he's got a smile on his face. You can tell he's really enjoying his time. And then he's going to fire off with a crossbow bolt at you. And again, they paid for the upper package. So this crossbow bolt appears and you just see like this mystical bolt of electrical energy light into it. And he fires off in your direction. That is a 19 to hit.
Jesus Christ! I understand that's someone they worship. So yes.
All right, so that is 19 points of piercing damage and 3 points of lightning damage as the bolt connects. And then he's going to kind of check the area up here. As the wizard is going to turn and run, the bees can take an opportunity attack if they like.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
That's cocked. Yeah, 19.
19. Okay, go ahead and roll a d6.
3.
3 more points of damage, which I think actually kills this bee swarm. So they're down. And then the other bee swarm is here if you want to swarm or make an attack with them.
They're gonna swarm to keep pushing.
Okay, so swarm to keep pushing.
Out.
Fantastic. And then that takes us to the top. The rogue is going to run through, and then that takes us to you, Gerald. What would you like to do?
I'm going to advance to the pit and like, oh no, I can't jump over. My legs are as small as my arms.
Fantastic. And then as the fighter is going through, so he's crossing through the trap. Do you want the trap to try to fall on him, or do you want it to fall after him?
I want it to start falling when he's underneath, so he's got time to run out from it. Unless he's distracted by trying to attack me, in which case it's going to fall on him.
Okay, cool. So he's still going to, it's a dexterity check or a perception check to see if he notices it. So as it begins to fall, he's slowly backing up and one of the trees falls on him. So go ahead and roll a 2d6 for the bludgeoning damage from the trees.
9.
9 points of damage. All right, cool. And then he does cross through. The bees swarm, and we move on to Monty's chamber. So they walk in. They see Monty there perched at the end. What do you do, Monty, as they see you?
I start just like my stakes just kind of go up a little bit, and I go, "Hello, travelers."
Okay. All right. The rogue immediately goes, "Fuck, it's a Medusa!" and fires off a crossbow in your direction. It's a natural 1. So it kind of goes over your head as they fire. Because we know that D&D parties tend to attack before they talk.
Okay, that was unnecessary. I am a potion seller, and if you don't attack me, I might be interested in sharing my wares.
Oh, the wizard kind of steps forward. I mean, like, guys, I think this is a good opportunity for us to, get some potions. Like, you look beat to shit, Rob. I mean, sorry. God, fuck. What was your name? Meat Man the Destroyer. You look like shit, man. And Rob has blood like drifting some wounds and things. He's like, yeah.
Faced off against a Tyrannosaurus.
Yes. And so they come forward to purchase from you. Jace pulls out the fantastic coins that they were provided with, while Ronnie is pulling out like $100 bill. And they're like, "No, put that away. Remember, like, we're not on Earth. The $100 bill doesn't work." He's like, "Oh, I forgot." And so they come up to you to purchase, and you are offering them 2 potions.
Yeah, I believe that's how many we said.
Awesome.
Right? They were, gang, I'm gonna put it, they've gotten really fucked up. Should we use our money here and throw in an extra one?
Yeah.
3?
You make it 3 potions. All right, cool. So that'll be 50 off of that extra 100 that we had there.
Okay. I think that's worth it.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so they kind of come up to you and they purchase the 3 potions. Rob immediately takes one of them. So let's see how he heals up. Oh, that's good. Okay, cool. So Rob heals up for 15 points. All right. So they're kind of sitting there and they're like, so, I mean, is that cave entrance the only way out of this space? Is there like another area that we should check out?
Oh, well, you're free to peruse as you like, but you must know that I know secrets about what lies ahead if you can guess my riddles. My trees are going. My trees are starting to go.
Oh, your trees is because let's see if they noticed the trees. No, that was a natural 1. They didn't notice the trees.
Okay.
So they're like, "Oh shit, yes, we love riddles." Okay, cool. So like, what's the first riddle? And then the trees start to activate.
Yeah.
So we've got our trees. Ian, go ahead and roll initiative for the trees for us.
Hold on. Get out of here. They rolled a 19.
A 19. Nice. Okay, cool. So as they're asking for the riddle, does Monty provide any riddles for them?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Because they haven't noticed the trees yet. Yeah.
Okay. How do you get down from a tree?
They kind of look at each other like, I mean, like, you fall?
No, down comes from a duck.
Gerald, I think she's freezing up here.
All right, so
I love dad jokes.
Yes. All right.
These
So
are great.
we'll go around. So Ian, do you want the treants to activate their first in initiative? Do you want them to activate this round or have them go through another round of dad jokes with Monty?
I'm going to give Monty
Let's be extra cruel. Let's give him another round of dad jokes.
Okay, so the trees maintain.
Be upset about how many I got of these.
So the trees maintain their tree likeness.
See how they're receiving these riddles.
They all laughed at the first joke, and they seem to be enjoying themselves. You're noticing that on the monster rating, that you got that monster rating bar had gone up, and they specifically said that they were really impressed with the T-Rex. And so they entered into this room in high spirits. So they asked, all right, oh man, we fucked that one up. Is it like a best 2 out of 3 situation, or do we have to get all 3 right?
No, you can. We'll just keep going. We'll just see what you got.
Oh, okay. What's the second one?
What color is the rain in a painting of a rainforest?
What color is the rain in a painting of the rainforest? I mean, that's like, is this an impressionist painting? Is it a cubism? Like, do you all have that here? Like, what is it? And they're kind of like talking.
We have paintings. I just referenced one.
Oh, so sorry. I don't mean to be like,
No, that's okay. I found out what a movie was today. That's not true. I just heard the word.
Is it green?
No, it's watercolor.
They're laughing again, which takes us back up to the top of the initiative round because they are stunned by your incredible jokes, Monty. Gerald, would you like the treants to activate this round or keep going?
Give him one more. Why not?
Oh my god!
I've got one.
No, I can do it. I got it. I just have to use my brain.
Okay, one more.
What do you call a chameleon?
No, you're not the one in the room. I gotta do this.
You've got a little earbud in your ear.
Okay.
Leave me alone.
All right. What do you want from me?
Damn it, silly stuff.
What do you call a chameleon that can't change colors? What's his problem?
Does Monty use that one?
I don't know. They've all been tree themed.
Oh, no. Then reptile dysfunction won't.
That's a good one, though.
That's impressive. Yeah.
Okay. Which side of a tree has the most leaves?
What side of a tree has the most leaves? I mean, like the top side, the bottom side. Okay. The outside.
Yeah.
We got one right. Does that mean like is like the secret path? Is the secret path open for us now?
I said maybe.
Okay, Monty.
Don't you want to hear more of my riddle?
Monty, this is your round. Do you want the treants to activate?
Yes.
Here? Okay. So the treants activate. So do you want the treants to attack them, or to try to funnel them towards the cave?
I want the treants to look like they're going to attack them, but they're not.
Okay, so the treants
funneling them.
come alive and move like this way, so that they are kind of funneling this way, and these giant trees come to life.
Oh, can I get the treants to kill me?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
And then look like they're going for them next.
Go ahead and
to
roll.
break their hearts now that I've endeared them.
Oh, she's good.
So
she's good.
So
Okay.
I need Monty to make a bandwidth check to see how effective your performance is, and then Ian, go ahead and make an attack roll against Monty.
Oh, let's.
Can I add a blood spray?
Yeah. Atmosphere.
Yeah, atmosphere. That blood spray would be 10, so that leaves you with 30 for atmosphere.
And I'll howl from beyond the woods. So can I help can my bandwidth help?
Absolutely. Go ahead and what's your bandwidth score, Gerald?
12.
A 12. So you can add a D12 to your bandwidth roll, Monty.
Okay.
I rolled a 19.
Oh man, so the blood spray is going to be fantastic as long as so to hit. So the hit, Monty, definitely hits you. So this tree kind of swipes down in a performance method and does like a stage hit on you. Monty, what was your bandwidth roll?
Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I got a 16.
16. So with the addition of the blood spray, the fantastic acting from your treant coworker, there's this incredible thing. What does Monty's death throes look like?
Okay, so it's like I'm being crushed, like very, very, Wicked Witch of the West, like melting kind of vibes, as I like assume I just kind of like fall into a trapdoor.
Yes, fantastic.
But I will say, I'll be like, run, travelers, go while there's still time.
All right. Okay, good.
Remember my riddles.
All right. So as they see this happen, you see them all go like, "Oh shit! That's too. Oh my god!" And so they're all gonna take off running for the chain.
Can you roll a 2-hit on the blood spatter to see if it gets on any?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. Nice. Go ahead and roll an atmosphere check for us, Ian, to see if the blood splatter could spray our legends.
Okay.
So D10 and D12 plus your impact.
Okay, cool. Oh, 10. Okay.
I will call after them as I die. Which animals can jump higher than a tree?
As they're running, they go, "We don't fucking know, you just died!"
Trees can't jump.
Just had to get the last one in.
Remember my Reynolds 3.
Now there's 4. Whatever. You said a D10, a D12, and what else?
And a D4.
A D4. A grand total of 23.
So as they're running, there's a final explosive, like volcanic blood spray from the trap you fell into. And it's just like you were crushed into oblivion, and there's just all of the blood in the world swarms across them, and they are coated from head to toe in blood spray.
Like an extra blood button.
Yeah. As they run for the entrance, the treants hounding them towards the cavern. As they go through the cavern, they have to make a DC 21 to escape the rock slide, which is activated.
Oh no.
2 of them make it. So go ahead and roll 3d6 for me, Gerald, for your rock collapsing.
That's pretty harsh. Do you see that?
15.
15. Okay, so 15 points of damage to the wizard. As you see them all dive through, and then the wizard gets kind of pinned down beneath it, and you hear them having this like, you can see them on the monitor as the camera kind of pulls in, and the fighter goes to him and is like, "No, Ronnie, I'm gonna dig you out, man. We can't leave you behind. Those treants fucking killed that Medusa." And they're like trying to dig Ronnie out. Let's see what his strength check is. And so he's like lifting these rocks and tossing to the side, and you notice that like his strength's not quite high enough to lift the rocks. Do you want to boost his heroism by lightening the level of the weight of the rocks for him to make him look stronger?
Yeah, okay. We'll do that.
All right, so that's a 10 points off atmosphere, so you've got 20 points left for atmosphere. And he's like chucking these rocks over his head, and Rob's like, "Man, I feel stronger than I've ever felt before." And he's tossing these rocks to the side. Meanwhile, you have a roper on the ceiling, and he's like, the roper calls in like, "Guys, is it like now? Like, I didn't read the script. Like, am I supposed to attack now?"
Give them a minute.
Oh, fuck. I hate theatrics. Are you sure?
Start wiggling and see if they notice you first.
Okay. So he shivers a little bit. And the wizard, who is currently pinned under rocks, goes, "Guys, I think there's something weird on the ceiling." And Rob's like, "Let me get you out, man. You're covered in rocks." He's digging it. He's like, "No, man, seriously. There's something wiggling on the ceiling." And the roper comes back like, "I mean, I think he saw me." I was like, is that the cover?
Now hold the scroll precariously so they can see that you have a scroll.
There you go.
Okay, so he like dangles the scroll down a little bit. And Jace the rogue goes, "Wait, he's holding treasure." Immediately, Rob stops lifting rocks off of Ronnie and turns is like, we will fight him. All right, cool. And so, Jace, go ahead and roll an initiative roll for the Roper for me.
All right. Horrible roll for the Roper. My monsters can't roll for shit. That is going to be a what's the Roper's plus?
Oh, sorry. Let me pull up here because because I'm modifying the stats for their CR, but you guys have these attack abilities. -1 to initiative.
Nice. A solid 5.
A solid 5. Fantastic. All right, cool. So that means that Jace, who saw the thing first, is going to make an attack with their venom dagger against the Roper. Cool. That's a 17 to hit the Roper, which will hit.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, and then so that is 10 points of damage to the Roper. All right, cool. And then that then takes us to Rob's character, who's also going to attack with the Flame Tongue, misses with the first attack, hits with the second attack. Cool. All right, so then that takes us back up to the Roper. Monty, how do you want to direct the Roper to behave?
It's going to make 2 tendril attacks, one against Rob and one against Jace.
Okay, go ahead and roll your attacks there.
I don't. The first one was a natural 20.
Okay, that definitely hits Rob.
And the second one is a 14.
Is that on the die?
It's a +7.
Oh, +7. Awesome, cool. So that hits Jace and Rob. So go ahead and roll damage on those.
Okay. So that is for a tendril attack. What is the tendril attack?
It is. Oh wait!
Oh, it just
grapples them. All right, cool. So it whips out at them, boom, boom, and grapples both of them, and then they are there. And then you can,
so it just grapples them.
And then you can reel one of them in if you would like to.
Yes.
Cool.
I guess since I nat 20 on Rob, I'll probably.
Cool. So you reel Rob in after the attack, and Rob to the Roper.
The fighter, whatever his name.
Yes, Rob, the fighter. Yeah. And then he's there, and so if the goal is to continue the fight, that's there. But the Roper kind of reaches out, and is like, so like, am I fighting them or am I like getting them this scroll? Like, what's my thing here?
Allow him to get the scroll from you. If they choose to continue fighting, fight back. If they escape, let them escape.
Okay, cool. So he like dangles the scroll in front of Rob's face, which then takes us to Rob. Let's see what he does. Good. So Rob sees the scroll and he's going to make an attack on the tendril with the scroll with a natural 20, and he slices through the tendril with the scroll with his flame tongue, and the scroll falls into his hands, and the Roper's like, fuck this, man, I didn't sign up for this shit. And like drops Rob, and Rob's like, I got the treasure. What should we do, guys? And they're like, I don't know, run. And so Rob takes on. Ian, do you want the Roper to make an opportunity attack against Rob or let him go?
We've got an injured coworker. I'm going to advise them to just sort of step back and fade into the darkness and then seek medical.
Okay, good. So he climbs up to the top of the thing, drops Jace, and then Jace and Ronnie also make their way
Don't worry,
in.
Mr. Roper. We don't have workers' comp, but they will throw a pizza party at the end of the month.
Oh, man, as long as there's some good shit on that pizza, I don't care. But like, I'm going to go smoke, because smoking is still legal here. Don't call me for the next dungeon, guys.
We won't. Thank you for your service.
All right.
You did a hell of a job.
You can high five me, he says as he walks out of the dungeon. All right. And then.
Everyone with the high five jokes. I mean, what? Jesus.
Does he not know how the high fives work?
Stop it. He's sensitive about it.
Jesus. Okay.
I know how they work. I just can't do them.
All right. So entering into the clearing with the cabin. Ian, when would you like the acid rain to kick up?
Have they spotted the cabin yet?
Yeah, so they come through out of the cave and they're like looking around at like the dense forests here, and they see the inviting interior of the cabinet ahead of them, and they're like breathing heavily. You see the markers coming up of like monsters goes up, rewards goes up. They're having a good time so far. Yeah.
Okay. As soon as they wander in, give them a second to catch their breath. And then the slow drip of the acid rain.
All right. So slow drip.
Slow drip. And then I want to just like downpour. Just start.
Okay. So they immediately notice the drops and they're like, oh, that's weird. But then they start to feel the burning. With the initial downpour, go ahead and roll a d6 of damage for me.
Oh, my goodness. We're going to kill these guys. A 6.
6 points of damage. All right.
I got 2 potions I haven't used yet.
They immediately run to the door. This is an opportunity for an atmosphere moment or for just a general plan. Did you want the door to be locked or open?
Let's make it. Can we make it locked in the rogue?
Yeah, we got a rogue. Let's make it locked.
Okay, cool. So you guys quickly reprogram the cabin, and there's a door there. I need an atmosphere check to see what the DC on the door is going to be.
A 10 and a 12, right?
A 10 and a 12 and a 4.
Ooh. I got, a 16.
So you watch as the first round of acid rain goes, and the rogue's like, don't worry, guys, I've got this. And like takes out their rogue tools and like goes to the door to do it. And you see them struggling with it. Go ahead and roll another D6 of acid damage for me.
Would.
Oh no.
I rolled a 2.
3 damage.
3 points of damage. And then the fighter's like, come on, Jace, you got this. Just go try again quickly. We're going to get caught out here in this rain. And so Jace tries again. Natural 20. And so you see the key goes in and they pop open the door and they run into the chamber with the food. And they are investigating the chamber. And they see the food and they're like, I don't know, guys, this is kind of suspicious. Like this food just sitting out here. Like,
how many more atmosphere points do we have?
You have 20 remaining atmosphere points. And you can dip into the 50 additional credits that you have if you want.
I suggest we do some like Disney smells, so it smells like so good. Yeah. Like the food is just so tasty. Like it's got that like the chocolate and the already roasted marshmallows.
Yeah. Oh, throw a fire in the fireplace.
Yep, I've seen it. It's super warm and inviting. It's actually very.
Oh, can we have a fake out card that says like "Congratulations, adventurers"? You know, so they think maybe it's
yeah. Like in the middle of the food display is a nice little card, and it says "You've earned this long rest."
Okay, go ahead and make an atmosphere check for us. Yeah.
Okay. Abru. Ooh. And a D4 or no?
And a D4 because it's your impact roll. Yeah.
A 21?
A 21. So immediately, Ronnie kind of steps forward and says, I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, I think we might have beaten the dungeon. Like, this looks like a reward. And Jace goes, a feast is the reward? Really? I mean, I'm a little hungry, I guess. And so they all sit down. They start eating the food. So how long do you want them?
They attack the silver knife.
Let's see. Yes, because it was a DC of 6. So Jace picks up the silver knife and goes, I actually think this might be the reward. Like, look at it. And she waves it around and it like boom, boom, like it turns into a lightsaber knife almost, like and they're like, oh, this is so cool. So they're like,
freaks the fuck out.
They're cutting the food with it. They are enjoying the food. At what point would you like, Gerald, your trap to activate, the lights to go off, Ian, the food to putrefy?
give them a minute to rest. Maybe even if they want to use some hit points to heal.
Okay,
up.
good. They can take a short rest here. That sounds good. Okay.
And then right as the lights go out, that's when I want the putrid smell to like just hit them and waft throughout the cabin.
Okay, good. Make an atmosphere check for how effective this putrefaction system goes out. The lights go out. They're like, oh man, what's going on with the lights? The fire like dims and then begins to smolder green in the fireplace as it begins to brighten back up. How effective was your atmosphere check?
I got a 17.
17. So the lights come back on just as Rob is going in for a bite. And then like Ronnie goes, oh, fuck, what is that? And Rob looks down and there is just like a leg of a human femur like covered with maggots. And he like quickly drops it and he stands back from the table and he's like trying to wipe his mouth out. He's like, what the fuck is going on? Gerald, when would you like the walls to start collapsing in on them?
Let's give them a moment.
Okay.
I'm hoping one of them like goes to like go against the wall to start vomiting, and that's when it starts.
Okay, good. So they start to spread out and like
and the maggots actually start like falling off the table and almost like corralling them.
Oh man. Jace immediately goes to the door to try to reopen the door. Do you want the door to have relocked?
Sorry, say again?
Would you want the door to have relocked after their entrance?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as Jace is trying to unlock the door, the walls begin to close in on them. Let's see. Nope.
The floor. This is where the floor starts giving way.
Okay, so they start getting pushed back towards the center, and then the floor collapses beneath them. Let's see if how they do on the fall. Ronnie falls flat. Jace lands fine. Rob lands fine. So they land down in the lower chamber and they are facing off there and they see the creature chained against the wall, the Nelfeshni, that is repurposed as a wolf. And they're like, oh man, Ronnie does take damage from the fall, 2 points of damage. And then they see the Nelfeshne there, and the Nelfeshne, who has never been asked to act in a dungeon before, this is the first time ever, is like, oh,
can we help by like maybe doing some audio noises here?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Let's burn the rest of the let's burn the rest of the atmosphere budget.
Okay, burn the rest of the atmosphere budget. So what would 50 points of atmosphere do for you all?
Dear Lord, horrible creaking of a old house. You hear scraping on the inside of the walls. The walls start bleeding.
Oh, maybe whispers too.
Whispers
of people being like, "Get out!"
Like a cacophony chorus of just like tortured souls whispering.
Yeah.
On the
Okay.
wall.
And then what acting note would you like to give the Nelfeshne as he's beginning his first acting job with you all?
Just snarl a lot and try to drool and walk slowly and menacingly towards them.
Okay, well,
Yeah, no words, no howls.
okay.
Just grunts and lots of drool.
Okay, so okay, grunts and drool. Okay, cool. So he kind of my mouth's really dry, guys. Is the drool necessary?
No, just make the growls.
Okay.
And
Starts approaching them. So we'll go ahead and roll initiative for the Nelfeshne. Okay, cool. So on the first round, Gerald, controlling the Nelfeshne, what would you like the Nelfeshne to do? Or the werewolf in quotation marks.
Yeah.
It's a full moon tonight.
Oh, it is. Perfect day for a werewolf.
How long does a full moon last?
It still is because of how full moons work.
So you've got 3 attacks, Gerald. You can do 1 bite and 2 claw attacks. And you can split those among the legends, or you can have them all attack 1 legend. What would you like them to do, Gerald?
Can Rob hear?
Does Rob hear?
I'm sorry. I zoned out.
Oh, it's fine. So you've got 1 bite and 2 claw attacks with an Nofeshne. Would you like them all on 1 legend or split between the legends?
One for each.
Okay, 1 for each. So go ahead and roll 3 attacks. They're all plus 10 to hit.
Trying out some new dice.
Yeah.
12, 17, and I'm not wearing my glasses to read the third one. That's before the plus 10. The other one's a 4. So low one is a 14, 22, and 27.
Okay, so the first 2 hit. So go ahead and roll 5d10 for the first one, and then 3d6 for the second one.
5d10?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah, the Nofeshne's bite is rough.
And I'll throw that at the fighter.
Okay. Now, as a group, do you want to reward them if they choose to use the silvered knife?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because Jace is planning on using the silvered knife, and that could be like the coup de grace of the dungeon by using the item that they picked.
27.
27. So as the Nofeshne attacks, you watch as like Rob poof, 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 gets knocked out. And then what's 3d6 on the second attack?
Lord Jesus.
7.
7 points of damage to Jace, who then like immediately like takes the silver dagger and says, "Not Rob, you bitch," and goes to stab and goes to stab at the Nofeshne with a natural 20. And so you can tell the Nofeshne,
character like actor, baby.
yeah, you can tell the Nofeshne to sell death here, or you can tell the Nofeshne to continue fighting. What would you like the Nofeshne to do?
Do we think it's been long enough?
What are they rating?
Their ratings have all been really high for you all so far.
One more round, but no bite attack. Let its face be wounded.
Okay, cool.
That's the most vicious attack.
Okay, cool. And so the Nofeshne goes, "Okay, I can do that." And you watch as the dagger slices, part of the Nofeshne's face just like melts off, and it's like, it's fine, guys. It does that sometimes. And and so he goes in. Meanwhile, the wizard is going to cast magic missile against the Nofeshne. Okay. And he takes 25 points of damage. And then it comes back up. Rob gets to make his first death saving throw, which he succeeds. And then it comes back up to the Nofeshne. So Monty, go ahead and you're going to forego the bite. So go ahead and make 2 claw attacks. That's
Okay.
plus 10 to hit for each one. And do you want these on Jace or do you want them on Ronnie?
1 for each.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and make 2
21
hits.
and 18.
8, that hits Ronnie as well. So go ahead and roll 2 separate 3d6s.
Well, we gave him potions for a reason. All right. First one is 9.
Okay, 9 points of damage to Jace. Okay.
Second is 7.
7. Okay, cool. So as you're kind of attacking, Ronnie's character drops to one knee and it's like, I'm okay. But he struggles back up to his feet, but Jace is kind of bloodied.
The health potions left?
They do, and they can use them on their turns. But Jace is going in for another attack against the Nofeshne with the silvered knife, as one of her companions is on the ground, bleeding out, and the other one is on his last leg. And that is going to hit the Nofeshne. Do you want the Nofeshne to sell death here or to continue fighting?
lose one of the arms.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say one more round. One more round.
Okay, so
I want them to use these potions.
strikes off, and then Alfashion's arm goes flying. And he's like, "Don't worry, guys, it grows back. It's fine." And so he's like, he's
doing a hell of a job.
He's
You're
like,
doing great.
"Oh, good man, high fives, high five would be great in my file, man." And so he comes back, and
considered getting into community theater.
Rob fails a death saving throw. Ronnie is going to.
They have the scroll of rest. So.
Yeah.
Yes, which Ronnie is going to. Well, he doesn't need to use the resurrection thing yet, but he is going to run over to Rob, and he's like, "Don't worry, Rob, I've got you, man." And he uncorks the potion and he shoves it into Rob's mouth, and you see as Rob heals up from the damage, and then Jace squares back off against the Alfashne, and it says, "You've met your match in me, beast," and is going to roll an attack. That is an 18 to hit.
Anger issues or something.
I was working something out right now.
So that's 27 points of damage with the silvered knife. As the third attack comes in, you want to sell the death?
Ooh, no, because I want them all to get one big attack in.
Okay, cool. So
now that everybody's healed up, everybody can do one big group attack, and they'll all feel like they did it together.
Okay, cool. So the Fashionay kind of gets cut across the stomach, and then he's going to make attacks. So if you, Ian,
with the arm.
Ian, we've got one claw attack. So go ahead and roll a d20 attack. Do you want it towards Ronnie, Jace, or Rob?
Ooh, who?
You're looking at the battlefield and you see that Rob looks the most injured because he was just brought back with a potion.
Jason's been right up on him, so I feel like it would make sense for Jace. But I also think Jace has taken the least amount of damage in this fight.
It has, yeah.
Do it at
That way they all
Okay.
get hit hard. They all get the hit hard.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and roll a d20.
He must be staggered because he rolled a 7.
Plus 10, that still will hit Jace.
Okay.
And then go 3d6.
Don't forget me. Oh, big. 12.
12 points of damage to Jace, who is now also looking a little injured.
Oh, my.
Sweet. Cool. All right, which takes us to Ronnie, who is going to go, "Okay, guys, I've got a big one. Jace, step to the side." And Jace is going to like maneuver a little this way. And you see electricity crackling at the end of the device that they gave to the humans so that they could cast spells. And a lightning bolt shoots off towards the Alfashne, who fails. And so takes, oh wow, that's 37 points of damage to the Alfashne. And he's like, okay, guys, is it like time yet? Like I'm getting really close here. And then Rob jumps up and is going to make 2 attacks with his flame tongue dagger or his flame tongue sword, which both hit. Which the Alfashne takes another 20 points of damage. And then
go down.
Okay, go down.
Wait, let Jace get one hit in.
Let Jace. All right, let this one finish me off.
She's got the nat 20 already.
Okay. Which Jace makes a 15 to hit. Which
just so it's a silvered weapon. And
cool.
Okay.
So
good call.
As Rob kind of hits him twice and he jumps out of the way, Jace jumps up into the air and stabs the silver weapon right into the heart of the Alfashne, who and he falls backwards and collapses to the ground. And the 3 legends are like jumping around each other excitedly. They find the treasure chest with the silvered chains, or they go back to the silvered chains and they discover these chains. They pull them off the wall, and you watch as each of them bloop, 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 blip out of the dungeon and go back to the debriefing room where you await their results.
The results?
And so as they're filling out their forms, you're kind of watching because you know this is the final piece of like part of your performance review of how well the dungeon comes in. And they get to atmosphere, and they immediately
I'm feeling good about this.
They immediately you see the atmosphere points, which everything starts at a 10. The atmosphere points go up by 9. And they're like, these were incredibly impressive atmosphere. Loved the acid rain, loved the trees. The whole thing had a beautiful theme to it. They get to the traps, and the traps also start at 10. And they go up by 11. And they were like, each of the traps caught them off guard. They loved the pit that caught them, the falling rocks and having to dig their friend trend out of the rocks. The seemingly safe space collapsing in on them and leading to the final battle. And then for the monster manager, it goes up to 12, and they were like having the varied supply of monsters, the difficult beast at the end, and then the overall rating you see goes up by 11. And so each of you are kind of like are there, and as the results are coming in, Henry walks in. Those are some impressive numbers, first round Dungeoneers.
Thank you, sir. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's nice to have the theory validated.
I think so. I think this deserves a bump on that performance index.
Oh, we'd be honored.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is so generous.
And you know what that means around here is that there's more responsibility with less pay, but can't wait for you all to start teaching the next level of dungeoneering here at DICOR.
It would be our pleasure, sir.
And that's where your workday ends.
You're getting punished for your success.
Yes, absolutely. That is corporate world. But that is Dungeons and Deskjobs. So
would you like to take on more responsibility?
Would you like to take on more responsibility? We can't promise you more perks. But you do have access to...
How about a new job title? No. That would just upset the other people.
We will put an espresso maker in your office.
Oh, no. That's not it. No, we'll give you a certificate.
A certificate, yes.
$24 gift card.
Yes. Let's see.
$5 off appetizers at the local Bennigan's.
Yeah. The next time you come in, Monty, you do see that because of the increase on your score, that Monty was chosen as the employee of the period for this month.
Oh my goodness. What do I get for that? What's my prize?
Your picture is on the wall outside of the main break room.
I take a picture of my picture on the wall with my monster iPad.
Yes.
You do like a selfie?
Monster.
Yeah, but it's on an iPad, so it's like very poor. But I'm really proud of it. And then I go to the fax machine and I print out the picture of the picture, and I frame that and put it on my desk.
That's fantastic. All right.
Speaking of Employee of the Month, you all have seen Hot Fuzz, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
When Timothy Dalton's in his office, there's all the Employee of the Month pictures on the side, and they don't really call attention to it. But it's him in every single one.
Every single one.
Yeah. That's so funny.